I grew up with my mom and my dad. They divorced when I was really young. My relationship with my mom has been a little rocky in the past. We kind of, I guess, butted heads a lot about Christ and our views, I guess, on Christianity. The church that we did grow up in, I kind of felt like I had to follow all these rules and be perfect. So the idea of that just really tore me down as a person and just made me sad. And I guess that sadness just kind of turned into anger towards Christianity. So my brother actually was involved way more before me or any of my other family members. He used to come to Reckless and do small groups. So he got involved in FCA, I would say, his junior year of high school. And at the time, I was wanting to pursue fine arts. So I was kind of just looking for any musical opportunity. So he came to me and told me that they needed somebody to lead worship for FCA. So I took on that opportunity, and through that, I learned really what truly Christianity was, and it's more so the relationship that matters. So COVID happened freshman year, and it kind of really got me back in my shell. I became very anxious. I didn't really talk to a lot of people, a lot of things going on, a lot of spiritual warfare going on in my life. So at that time, that's when I kind of fell away from God again. I figured if I just stopped, then the enemy would leave me alone. My friend Hannah Davis actually invited me to Reckless, and I saw the community and just people really giving their hearts to God, in worship, and just the energy in the room was so different, and I had never been to a place like that. It was very welcoming. I feel like it was one of the first places I had truly felt welcome. Through small group, and all the girls in my small group are extremely welcoming people. I had really never had that support system in my faith ever, so it was a very significant change for me in my relationship with Christ, and just learning how important community through Him is. My feelings about Rush were, it looked really fun, really great, but in the back of my head, I just always knew I wouldn't have the funds to go and I wouldn't be able to go, so I just kind of wrote it off. One night in small group, our leaders were just going around the room asking us who's gonna go to Rush, and they got to me and I just said oh no, I can't afford to go. So later that night, we all came down from small group, and Miss Tracy pulled me aside with her husband, Matt, and they told me that they would pay for my trip, and they felt this is something God was really putting on their heart. She looked at me and she said, "I just think you need a break." And I really felt God kind of saying you can rest in me. Actually being at Rush, well, we started out with just the games and all that stuff. And I was oh yeah, it's just gonna be another fun week. But then worship started, and every single night in worship, I was just on my hands and knees, worshiping, surrendering. I had so many things built up inside of me that I thought I could never surrender to God. And I thought I was just bound to for the rest of my life. But I was just on my hands and knees in tears every single night, just surrendering it all to Him. During Paul's message, there was a very significant moment. It was the very last night of Rush, and they handed out these bracelets, and he said, whenever you're ready to just really fully devote and be a light of Christ, pull there was a little plastic piece and your bracelet would light up. And I just remembered I pulled that piece of plastic, and for so long I had been so in the dark, and I for the first time was so filled with joy from God. The morning we were leaving, I got baptized with my friend Madeline. I just remember going under the water and just feeling new. Coming out of the water, I had redevoted my life to God, and I was ready to show everybody. God did move in my life. He's completely restored my relationship with me and my mom, and really just me and my whole family. And ever since then, I've just been so confident in who He's made me to be, instead of being so bound and so chained down by all the things that I ended up surrendering to Him. And just knowing I'm not those things anymore. I'm a child of God.